The genius, wit, and the spirit of a nation are discovered by their proverbs. Whoever is out of patience is out of possession of their soul. Children sweeten labors, but they make misfortunes more bitter. Rebellions of the belly are the worst. Write down the thoughts of the moment. Those that come unsought for are commonly the most valuable. God's first creature, which was light. I do not believe that any man fears to be dead, but only the stroke of death. Anger is certainly a kind of baseness, as it appears well in the weakness of those subjects in whom it reigns. Children, women, old folks, sick folks. A man must make his opportunity as oft as find it. Knowledge and human power are synonymous. Some books are to be tasted, others to be swallowed, and some few to be chewed and digested. But men must know that in this theater of man's life it is reserved only for God and angels to be lookers on. Nothing is pleasant that is not spiced with variety. Prosperity is the blessing of the Old Testament. Adversity is the blessing of the New. Silence is the virtue of fools. Friendship increases in visiting friends, but in visiting them seldom. They are ill discoverers that think there is no land, when they can see nothing but sea. Children sweeten labors, but they make misfortunes more bitter. Of all virtues and dignities of the mind, goodness is the greatest, being the character of the deity. And without it, man is a busy, mischievous, wretched thing. It is impossible to love and to be wise. Truth is the daughter of time, not of authority. Wives are young men's mistresses, companions for middle age, and old men's nurses. What is truth? Said jesting Pilate, and would not stay for an answer. A man that studieth revenge keeps his own wounds green. A bachelor's life is a fine breakfast, a flat lunch, and a miserable dinner. Men fear death as children fear to go in the dark. And as that natural fear in children is increased by tales, so is the other. Opportunity makes a thief. Wise men will make more opportunities than he finds. If we do not maintain justice, justice will not maintain us. Who questions much shall learn much and retain much. He that will not apply new remedies must expect new evils. For time is the greatest innovator. Prosperity is not without many fears and distastes. Adversity not without many comforts and hopes. Wise men make more opportunities than they find. Science is but an image of the truth. If a man be gracious and courteous to strangers, it shows he is a citizen of the world. There is nothing makes a man suspect much, more than to know little. Acorns were good until bread was found. Write down the thoughts of the moment. Those that come unsought for are commonly the most valuable. It is natural to die as to be born. Lies are sufficient to breed opinion, and opinion brings on substance. A man must make his opportunity as oft as find it. For my name and memory I leave to men's charitable speeches, and to foreign nations and the next ages. God has placed no limits to the exercise of the intellect he has given us. On this side of the grave, fashion is only the attempt to realize art in living forms and social intercourse. If a man's wit be wandering, let him study the mathematics. God Almighty first planted a garden, and indeed, it is the purest of human pleasures. Money is like manure, of very little use except it be spread. In taking revenge, a man is but even with his enemy, but in passing it over, he is superior. The desire of excessive power caused the angels to fall. The desire of knowledge caused men to fall. Beauty itself is but the sensible image of the infinite. Things alter for the worse spontaneously, if they be not altered for the better designedly. Truth emerges more readily from error than from confusion. There is a difference between happiness and wisdom. He that thinks himself the happiest man is really so, but he that thinks himself the wisest is generally the greatest fool. Judges ought to be more lean than witty, more reverent than plausible, and more advised than confident. Above all things, Integrity is their portion and proper virtue. The place of justice is a hallowed place. There is no comparison between that which is lost by not succeeding and that which is lost by not trying. Natural abilities are like natural plants that need pruning by study, and studies themselves do give forth directions too much at large, except they be bounded in by experience. In order for the light to shine so brightly, the darkness must be present. He that hath wife and children hath given hostages to fortune, for they are impediments to great enterprises, either of virtue or mischief. The job of the artist is always to deepen the mystery. Age appears to be best in 4 things: old wood best to burn, old wine to drink, old friends to trust, and old authors to read. A little philosophy inclineth man's mind to atheism, but depth in philosophy bringeth men's minds about to religion. The remedy is worse than the disease. We cannot command nature except by obeying her. Friends are thieves of time. It is as natural to die as to be born, and to a little infant, perhaps. The one is as painful as the other. Anger makes dull men witty, but it keeps them poor. If a man will begin with certainties, he shall end in doubts. But if he will content to begin with doubts, he shall end in certainties. Houses are built to live in, and not to look on. Therefore seek ye first the good things of the mind, and the rest will either be supplied, or its loss will not be felt. Seek ye first the good things of the mind, and the rest will either be supplied. The subtlety of nature is greater many times over than the subtlety of the senses and understanding. Nature is often hidden, sometimes overcome, seldom extinguished. Silence is the sleep that nourishes wisdom. The best part of beauty is that which no picture can express. There is no excellent beauty that hath not some strangeness in the proportion. Reading maketh a full man, conference a ready man, and writing an exact man. Young people are fitter to invent than to judge, fitter for execution than for counsel, and more fit for new projects than for settled business. I will never be an old man. To me, old age is always 15 years older than I am. Nature, to be commanded, must be obeyed. Whosoever is delighted in solitude is either a wild beast or a god. Hope is a good breakfast, but it is a bad supper. A prudent question is 1/2 of wisdom. Many a man's strength is in opposition, and when he faileth, he grows out of use. People usually think according to their inclinations, speak according to their learning and ingrained opinions, but generally act according to custom. God has placed no limits to the exercise of the intellect he has given us. On this side of the grave, the way of fortune is like the Milky Way in the sky, which is a number of small stars, not seen asunder, but giving light together. So it is a number of little and scarce discerned virtues, or rather faculties and customs, that make men fortunate. Virtue is like a rich stone, best plain set. Choose the life that is most useful, and habit will make it the most agreeable. It is in life as it is in ways. The shortest way is commonly the foulest, and surely the fairer way is not much about. Revenge is a kind of wild justice, which the more a man's nature runs to, the more ought law to weed it out. Fortune is like the market, where, many times, if you can stay a little, the price will fall. The worst men often give the best advice. It is a strange desire to seek power and to lose liberty, or to seek power over others and to lose power over a man's self. God hangs the greatest weights upon the smallest wires. Certainly, in taking revenge, a man is but even with his enemy, but in passing it over, he is superior, for it is a prince's part to pardon. Knowledge is power. Imagination was given to man to compensate him for what he is not, a sense of humor to console him for what he is. Fortitude is the marshal of thought, the armor of the will, and the fort of reason.